Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original presented by Prize Picks. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is that time of week where we have a guest join us, coming to us live from scenic, one of them places in Connecticut. I don't even remember which one you in. Elle Duncan, what's going on?
Yeah, somewhere in central Connecticut. It took me like 3 years to learn which part of Connecticut I actually live in. I just kind of, in general, blank out geography at this point in my life.
So it's central because I had no idea. I just knew it was in Connecticut.
100%. But like, I still am at the point where if you're like, oh, what state is directly to the east of Connecticut? I'm like, Delaware? I literally don't know where. It's like, listen, spending 32 years in the South, like I never, when you learn about geography when you're young, it's just sort of like you learn all the states and then it's just like New England. Like it's like a catch-all.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't know about where I live, which is
Yeah,
probably problematic. I've been here 8 years.
I'll never forget. I growing up in Texas, that one day we had the open house in class, and one teacher had like stenciled or whatever. It was like a geography quiz, and it was all the New England states that were up there. And you know them Texas white folks, they was in there like the lesser states. That's what they walked in, and like they understood they were being funny, but they meant every word of it, right? Like they were like, "Yo,
100%.
these are the lesser states."
Right. You're like, we're the biggie state. Then y'all got that little thing up there you call Rhode Island, which is always hard
That's
to
right.
identify. And then I think most people can sort of correctly identify the New England states, but then everyone forgets about Delaware, unless of course you're from Baltimore because that's where you vacation.
Yo, have you watched any of the Patriots, the Dynasty doc on Apple TV?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's interesting. Like so far, it seems to be pretty well done. But they've got like the Aaron Hernandez episode, and people talk a lot about that. But I bring up the Aaron Hernandez episode because Aaron Hernandez is from Bristol, Connecticut, and they always talk about like they had to get him away from his hometown of Bristol, Connecticut, because it was so rough and tumble up there in Bristol, Connecticut. And I'm like, damn, what Bristol was this? Because when I was up in this motherfucker, you just go into the Dunkin' Donuts, the Target in the little next town over, and go in. I ain't know it was like a south side of Bristol. I ain't know
I
it was
had
railroad
no
tracks in Bristol.
idea. Yeah, Bo, like, yeah, when I think of Bristol, I think of like ESPN and then a bunch of car dealerships. I had no idea that it was like straight thuggin', at least for central Connecticut is straight thuggin', hard hitting New Britain, battling with Bristol for biggest competition. Although I will say one of the best things to happen to like Bristol athletics was that big giant baby on UConn, Donovan Clingan, because for so long their pride was like Aaron Hernandez, and now they have this big giant 7-foot baby child who's a national champion, and now they can sort of make him their poster child for Bristol athletics. But yeah, man, it's hard out here, I guess.
Maybe they kept that away from us. You know what I'm saying? Like little did we know that a lot had been done to stop us from getting out here and finding out that Bristol had had a whole nother side to it. Because I'm just I don't know if I ever told you this, but my dad tells this story. My dad from a little small town, Louisiana. He tells a story about like the first time he came to Connecticut. And he did a talk at UConn in stores, and he's like he just had always been hearing about the North his whole life, the North, and he got up there, and I'm gonna edit this a little bit for the audience, but he got up there and he said, shit, this is just Alabama with no black people. That's all it is, right? And like I would go to that Target in Southington, and I'd walk in there. I can't give the exact descriptions, but you go look at some of them couples in there, and it look like Myrtle Beach. It looked like the Pancake House in Myrtle Beach. I was like, I don't know how y'all found love, but ain't nobody mad that you found each other, because ain't nobody else trying to roll with y'all.
There's a lot of Huddle House elite around here. I will say this though, whenever you think that you don't live in like the bastion of diversity, just spend a little time in Iowa, because that's where I was. And I this past weekend, and I was looking around like, this is truly, there was like 4 black people out of the 17,000 or whatever that were there, and one of them was me, and one of them was playing, and one of them was Travis Scott.
My brother, I tell you, my brother and sister went to graduate school there. Like they
At
put
Iowa?
in some real, yeah, they put in some real Iowa time.
Listen, I'm shocked that like it's funny too, because whenever I joke about that, my dad always has to remind me, your grandfather and like his whole side of the family are from Iowa, Elle, which I always kind of black out and blank out. But I met Jake from State Farm, also there, real name Kevin. Shout out to Kevin. And his father was there with him, and he is an alpha. He had his jacket on, his Iowa alpha jacket on. That was the convergence of two things that I didn't see coming at all. I was like,
So he's
wow,
an
I didn't
Iowa
even know
guy.
that. He's an Iowa guy. Yeah, he's like from there. He went to Iowa and he was an alpha at Iowa. I was actually shocked and tickled to know there was enough black people to have fraternities there. I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh no, they got enough. Now I will tell you, those fraternities, they got some athletes in them. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't forget that part that you got the athletes and they could get there. I did hear a story once about a dude who pledged one of the frats up there. He's a football player. I don't feel like I'm talking out of turn. This event happened probably nearly 40 years ago, but he was pledging one of them, and he was a dude that you didn't really want no problems with. And so what they had done is they had taken a bunch of the pledges out in some field, and they would come behind them and they would grab them by the draws and they would rip their draws all the way through, right? Like go like past wedgie and like rip their draws all the way through. And they came to the one cat and they tried this with him. He's like an all Big Ten football player. And I will also sanitize this for the audience. I recall it was, I'm whooping your ass, I'm whooping your ass, I'm whooping your ass. And we don't need to talk about what he said about the next one's girl, right? Like he had just made it clear, though, that ass whoopings were going to take place. And they were like, what? And they took him in the back. And see, the issue was he was that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a reasonable outcome that he described. So they got him back there and was like, hey, man, you can't be talking to us like that in front of the pledges. So how about you give us a pair of your draws and we rip a hole in them and we just, go out there and yeah.
They staged an atomic wedgie?
They tried to stage an atomic wedgie. It required complicity that they were not going to receive from this particular gentleman.
Yeah, so I actually had a conversation with a guy that I work with who is one of our Caucasian brothers and sisters, Caucasian brother in a fraternity. And I did ask him, like, I spent some time at West
fraternity or like one of our fraternities?
No, in a white fraternity. I think he was maybe a Pike or something. Yeah, I think, yeah. But okay. I did ask him why, when groups of some types of men get together, typically ones that look like him, do they always need to do things like that? Like, why do you need to involve butts? And why do like tea bags need to happen? I'm sorry if that's not allowed on the show, but like, I never understood, like, why do you need to take a picture with like your thing laying next to his cheek? Like, I don't get why all of a sudden, like, punishments are always very questionable physically.
It's a different world, man. You can't pass out around white boys. Ain't no telling what might happen.
Exactly. And he, right?
Like you might wake up and someone might have to die.
Yes. That would never fly with us. Bo, if you like, and these guys like chuckle and think it's hilarious. I'm like, if you put your testicles on my chin and took a picture, I'm going to put you in the hospital.
It's over. Are you familiar with a gentleman named Reggie Love?
Yes.
Reggie had a night in Chapel Hill once that is like legendary, to the point that I can't believe he ever got a job with Obama. Like, I was like, I can't believe he made it past the background check, but it was legendary. He came to Chapel Hill, had a little bit too much fun, and people took pictures.
Oh no.
I'll just put it there.
What kind of pictures, Bo?
I can't remember exactly what the pictures were, so since we're going live, I don't want to give too many details, but I'm here to tell you there was pictures. Okay. There were pictures, and I feel comfortable speaking of it in the context of our current discussion.
Gotcha.
There were pictures.
Yeah. Oh man, and that's tough back in the day. Like I know for sure. Thank God there were no cell phones back when I was like in my fuckery prime. Because I know for sure there'd be lots of horrible pictures floating around, but like that's something when you get busted back in the day for some stuff like that,
Let me tell you, so it was tough back in the day. As I recall on this one, Yeah, it'd be pretty goddamn tough right now. Like there's some like look, I don't know where we gonna get in our journey. Like, did you see American Fiction?
No.
Okay, so in American Fiction, Sterling Brown plays a gay man, and like we're not shocked. Like there ain't no mystery to the kind of gay they going for. Like they made him the like snorting a bunch of blow, like young boyfriends kissing him on the mouth sort of gay. And I gotta be honest, man, I'm not an actor, but I don't know if I'm far enough into my journey of like enlightenment and everything else, where it's like, all right, cool. So you and that dude about to go kiss in the mouth right now. Don't know if I can. I don't know if I can get that far into character for you. I'm just right. Like we've taken steps there. I have not quite gotten right. We're not there. These cats be getting their homeboys drunk and doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is not.
And I don't know
again,
where in the journey that starts.
Yeah, I don't understand the psychology behind that. Like, why your first inclination is this person is passed out. Let me try to embarrass them in a way that involves me placing body parts or sticking things in their body parts. I got texted a picture back in college of just that. This friend that we had that had passed out, and then they forked him. But you know what I mean? But
Wait, hold on.
But it was
and all of this
but
for somebody to take a picture of it.
Right. And like everyone's just laughing and they think it's hilarious. And like again, like the next week and he's back drinking with his buddies. I just don't get it. I don't understand.
Y'all, it's gonna be an issue. Like I saw something yesterday. Did you see that story with Isaiah Stewart plays for the Pistons, rocked the dude Eubanks for the Suns, and my question on that was very simple, man. You call it the fucking cops, right? Like I just don't really, I don't really get on board with this. Like we gonna call the cops, and it was a white man, so you got me wondering if Drew is like Drew translate to Karen. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really on board with it. But apparently, what happened was our friend Isaiah Stewart had some beef from a game. I can't remember if it was 3 weeks or 3 months, but it was a while ago. But old buddy showed up to the gym, and there was beef over whatever happened in that game. And so it was a back and forth, and then he rocked him, and then they called the cops. And I can understand the cop calling at this point, because now you just got to hope that he felt like he got his money's worth by hitting you. He might not. Right. This might have been a fight that you got to have in every tunnel. And he's like, hey, buddy, this stops right now, right? Like we have to make this quick. That was over something in a basketball game. Like, Can you imagine if Isaiah Stewart showed up at one of these frat parties? Somebody was like, dude, get the camera. Watch what we're going to do. You'll be fighting that dude for the rest of your life.
For life. Have you ever held a grudge like that? Like, have you ever had like an on-site, like it's going down?
I have not had a for life on-site. My brother tells a story about an on-site they had when he was in college because some dude came to their house and stole their answering machine. And so it was on site with that dude. And it was the worst moment of the on site for that dude because it was on site. And one night they saw him twice. And so there wasn't a like limit one per day, right? This ain't the supermarket. It was on site twice.
Wow. They had to go in twice. See, I've been on the opposite end where someone on-sited me and then they saw me and they did nothing. And I was ready too because I was like, they said on site. I know what that means. Like, so I see the person after they have declared publicly on site, next time I see you, Elle, like on Twitter, I'm going to beat your ass. I was like, cool. I see the person. It's just me. It's an area that is rife for me to get my ass whooped because this person has all of her girls and I am solo dolo by myself and there's really no one else around. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, I'm not going to be a punk. Like this is what we're about to do on site. Earrings come off. Like I'm preparing for this fight that I'm about to be engaged in because on site. And she just pretended like she didn't see me and walked off. I was kind of disappointed.
Where is this footage of you taking off your earrings and getting ready to box? I need to see this footage of East Cobb County getting ready for action. I need it in my life so bad.
It was actually, I'll have you know, Bo, I have been in a fight before. And because of that first fight on my 25th birthday outside of the Velvet Room, the
Velvet Room was still open at your 25th birthday?
Yes, it was. It was the new one. Remember when they moved it all the way out off 285? Yeah.
Got it.
So it's so I throw a party with Alex Gidwan for my birthday, turning 25, and I have friends there. And it was mistaken identity. Like one of the girls was trying to fight my girlfriend because, you know, a man thing. It's always a man thing. It was a love triangle. My friend was like obliterated drunk. I was like, you're not going to attack my friend out here. She doesn't even have her wear. And, but, you know, while I'm trying to be the reasonable adult here, listen, you know, I'm going to stand and I'm going to shut this down right. She swung on me. I was like, ah! So it was like the awareness of like, oh, okay, we're in a fight now. And, there was some hair pulling, of course, and there was the earring that was pulled out, and she ripped my dress open. So, needless to say, I was informed. Fast forward 3 years later, I was informed by that. I was like, I'll be more prepared this time. Like, you won't catch me off guard. You know what I mean? Like, this time I'm going to be ready to go. And then the girl who you would think was about it, you would think was about it. She was at the time a public figure, just backed off and did not actually, in fact, on-site me. So, yeah, that was
you about
interesting.
to fight? Was you about to fight somebody from one of them girls from the crime mob?
No, hell no. I would never mess with Princess or Diamond. Absolutely not. No. No. Listen, it was very public. It was on Twitter. The person that wanted to fight me was Usher Raymond's ex-wife at the time, Tamika. She wanted to fight me.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I made a comment. Listen, I was snarky. I've been petty for a long time. I made a very petty comment. I'm grown now. It was petty. I said it on the radio show. She took exception. She was very upset. And for a few days, there was a lot of tweets. But one of them, apart from calling me SpongeBob SquarePants bodied, was that she would fight me on site. And then she did not, in fact, fight me on site, which I was glad about. I'm like, you're a mom of 3. We shouldn't be doing this.
She didn't want to fight you. She was just jive talking and jigabooing.
Things only we can say.
For the people who don't know, Elle was playing softball once in high school, and her team had some beef with some Afro-Americans, and one of the coaches came out and said they was going to shut down all that jive talking and jigabooing.
You know it. I'm like, it just was going so well. We're going to beat them. We're going to play hard. We're going to shut down that jive talking and jigabooing. Yikes.
Skirt!
Zoinks. Wait.
And this is in the 21st century, right?
Correct. I mean, this was 2000, the year 2000. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yo, there is nothing quite like when you hear about something wild, racist, and then somebody gives you the year and you're like, oh, I did not realize this happened at this point. Like a guy was telling me once, he was a member of a swim club, right? And you know that water bring the racism out, right? And so everybody was just there. All the white folks were just there at the pool. And then out of nowhere, he said he looked up and he tells the story. And he's like, these kids locked the gate. And they were like, N-words are coming. And so everybody freaked out and panicked. And my guy was like, it was the year 2000.
Oh my gosh. It's the worst. It's the worst. You hear something. It's like people heard that story, Bo, the last time I was on, and they're like, it was a different time back then. I'm like, how old do you think I am? It was the year 2000. Bro, what are you talking about? It wasn't a different time back then.
I hate being at the age that puts me in these positions that ask people, how old do you think I am? Like, people keep hitting me up about some clip from the Wayans brothers, and they're like, yo, is this you from this clip from the Wayans brothers? You talking about when I was 13 years old?
You're like, no, I didn't.
How old do you think
Wayans
I am?
Brothers. Correct.
What are you talking about?
It really is. Yeah, it's a tough process when you become. I all of a sudden have become TT everything, and for those of you that don't know, TT is the colloquial term for like auntie amongst the Black community. And now, like the young people at ESPN, they call me TT, and it's just like really, it's tough to kind of come to terms with. Not that I want to be objectified, not that I want to be, known as like the hot whatever, but to instantly give off auntie energy is just like, damn, is that what happened? I used to be at the Velvet Room fighting in my hot girl dresses at the club, and now I'm just TT.
Well, no, here's the thing. Like, I don't like this unk thing, right? Like, I'm not really here for the unk. And I feel like I've earned the right. I've been waiting my whole life to be sir. You know what I'm saying? And I can't be like, but I feel like sir for a man lands a little different than ma'am is gonna land with you. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
I don't feel like it's gonna hit the same for you.
I will say this though, like being Southern, sir and ma'am is like pretty institutional. So I don't find it to be, I find it to be very respectful.
Yes.
But it's when like a colleague calls me Miss L. I'm like, no, that's for children. Like if you are over the age of 10, you don't say Miss and then a person's first name. Miss Duncan, fine. Ms. Duncan, whatever. But Miss L, you are 25 years old. Like that feels very weird to me. It's and
Well, also,
unnecessary as well.
I also feel like we're not raising these kids right in the sense that like everybody know not to make that lady feel old. You know what I'm saying? I've known all kinds of things. Like you're not supposed to you're not supposed to do that. Like that's just not. No, no, no. Like if you got an error, call her by her first name and let her tell you that she a ma'am. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like
Yes, correct.
like that's the direction you need to go at this point in that way.
100%. Over flatter. Are you old enough to drink? Clearly, I've got crow's feet. But you know what I mean? You flattered me anyway. You always want to go the other way.
Yes. Yes. Now, I forgot we ain't have a chance to get into this so far. Part of the reason why I got you on here, you the resident Denver Broncos fan. You the one that we all know. And I just gotta ask, anybody ever hated you $85 million worth of hate? Anybody ever been $85 million worth of sick of you? Where they just like, nah, man. And I'm not saying it's Russell's fault, but I am saying that did happen.
Okay, I think that this is a twofold approach. First of all, my show group likes to remind me of just the sheer joy from the video I posted from Disney World, might I add, when I got the news that Russell Wilson was coming to Denver. I mean, I was giddy. Now, right away, have you ever had an experience where like instantly there's like some yellow flags that turn to red flags and your enthusiasm is immediately matched with sheer terror? So I texted Mina Kimes, of course, friend of ours, noted Seahawks fan, and I was like, let's go. And like essentially she texted me like devil horns and was like, he's your problem now, bitch. Like that's basically the text I got. I was like, so right away I was like, I don't know, a smarter football mind. I'm like, okay, that's not good. But maybe she's just being a homer. And she was so thrilled. And that was a little bit scary. And then, of course, handing him all that money before he ever took a snap, yellow flag. The biggest red flag is when that mother buster had a fucking tagline, catchphrase before he ever even took the field. When he said, let's ride, I was like, oh my God, because it instantly went from, I want to win games to, I don't care about winning games if my quarterback is this unlikable. And at the time, it was like the rumors of, will we get Aaron Rodgers? I didn't want Aaron Rodgers. I was like, I don't want to hate my quarterback, like just to win games. I had to hold my nose for Jay Cutler for all those years, those 3-4 years, and I just didn't want to have to do it again. So I was into Russell because at the very least, like he's a nice guy. He's corny, but like whatever. He's a nice guy. And like I love Sierra and he's got kids and he's a family guy and blah, 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 blah. But man, I got to tell you, that right away told me this is going to be bad. This is not a Hollywood town. Denver wants to win, but they're not into your like sort of catchphrases, or they're not into like just the idea that you're a great guy. You can take all the pictures you want at the Children's Hospital. And I think that's awesome that he's so dedicated to the community. I do believe that's real. I don't think that's manufactured, but nobody's impressed by any of those things. And so he was not put in the best position to win. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett was truly that bad of a coach, but the Broncos effed up by making that huge mistake and then blaming him time and time again. Russell Wilson didn't have to get all of that money up front. You literally didn't even watch this man take a single regular season snap, and you mortgaged your whole entire future on him. And it was a gamble that you lost. I'm all for it. You want to take gambles. That's all well and good, but it's a gamble that you totally and completely whiffed on. And now you want to make it all about him and his ego and how he's Hollywood. And I just feel like that's unfair. The truth is, he didn't play particularly well, and also that the Broncos made an enormous amount of missteps in this whole entire process. It's embarrassing. Frankly, it's truly embarrassing for an organization that A, expects to win, and largely for an organization that has avoided scandal or controversy. I mean, honestly, Bo, the last time I was like embarrassed to be a Broncos fan was, not to get too, sad, but with what happened to Darren Williams. Like that was embarrassing. You know, when he was shot because people were acting like knuckleheads in the club and whatnot, like that was truly, it was sad, it was heart-wrenching, and it was embarrassing. We've largely been able to avoid that. This is just like humiliating. I mean, there is no bottom right now for the Broncos.
And they've been banned for 9 years.
Dude.
Right.
Since I started working at ESPN.
That 2015 season, they were the one Super Bowl. They've been bad ever since. And the question I have, now what? Like, I get the idea that you're like, yo, Russell Wilson is not our guy. I feel you. I just need to know who you're actually going to get, because y'all won more games than you probably should have last year, and you traded away all those picks. So who are you going to get to make this better? What quarterback is about to show up to make this right for the Broncos? And I don't have an answer for that.
No, I don't have an answer either. We have no faith in them to correctly identify anyone in the draft. I mean, think about it, Bo. If you think about it, since they drafted John Elway, and what was that, 82? 83 that they drafted him? 83, right? Since they drafted Elway in 83, the year I was born, I'm 41. The best quarterback that they've drafted has been who? Brian Griese? Legit, drafted. Brian Griese?
Jay Cutler.
Like,
it's actually been Jay Cutler.
Well, I think Brian Griese won more games than Jay Cutler even.
Fair.
I mean, well, Jay does have a playoff win, so there's at least that. That's the best. Jay Cutler, Brian Griese. So you're talking about in a 40-year span, John Elway, Hall of Famer, and then not even anyone that can game manage. I mean, it's just, you haven't had the kind of consistency that you've been looking for the better part of 2 decades. And I don't think that they know how to correctly bring a quarterback in. Like I said, they already mortgaged their future. So it's not exactly like they've got a bunch of draft capital. Russell Wilson counts for like $60 million in dead cap space. I mean, it's just, it's bad because there is absolutely like no end to this cycle. When I hear our draft analysts say things like, oh, it looks like Bo Nix, I'm like, the guy that couldn't cut it in the SEC and ran to the Pac-12, that guy, that's our guy?
Yo,
no, that's not our guy.
They keep trying to talk us into Bo Nix. I'm sorry.
No.
I watched a little bit of him at Oregon. It was a warm-hearted story. You're not fooling me with this shit. Absolutely 100% not. You are not. If your team drafts Bo Nix in the first round, whoa, don't do that to you.
But Bo, would that surprise you? My team drafted Paxton Lynch in the first round, okay? God, at least right? Like at least whatchamacallit played at a Power 5 school. Bo Nix, like 2 of them. It's a project. Just think about the people that we've drafted, you know? Honestly, maybe the most successful quarterback we drafted was Brock Osweiler, because he actually legitimately helped us win games that led to a Super Bowl. Brock Osweiler, think about that. So it's maddening because we've had these sort of like decent defenses. I mean, I know after the Miami game, people thought this was the worst defense of all time, but part of why we won more games than we needed to last year is because the defense turned it around and became legit. The offensive line, we did a stat that in 2 years, Russell Wilson was sacked 100 times. But here's the thing. If you look at the pass rush win rate, right, which is not a thing most people do, but it is like the best metric to see how good an O-line is. They're like 8th in the league. So again, some of this is on who they decide to put into those roles and not necessarily on the units themselves. This is a team a lot like the Falcons, Bo. I know you're not on the narcotic anymore, but a lot like the Falcons that are truly just like a decent game manager away. I mean, the Falcons are in the same situation, except for the fact that the Falcons don't share a division with the Chiefs. So they don't have to win a ton of games in order to be competitive and succeed. But it's the same sitch where you're like, we are wasting these skill players. We are wasting this defense. We are wasting this running game. Everybody's playing outside of themselves except the quarterback position.
Hold on. We're going to put a pin in that because we're going to do some advertising. And then when we come back, the Falcons might do one of the most ironic things in the history of the NFL. And I'll tell you about that coming up next. That's a tease. Prize Picks is the most fun you can have by winning up to 25 times your money. And with the football season over, you can still win money with basketball and hockey. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You can pick combo projections across multiple sports from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. And if you stick around for the end of the show, You'll get to hear some picks from our producer, Sean, that can either help you win or make you fail miserably. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays offers a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have plenty of styles and colors to pick from, so finding your next pair of shades is a breeze. Plus, if your shades go MIA or take a hit, don't sweat it. They've got lost and broken protection, so you're covered from day one. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence, because they have your back long after you purchase. If you don't love your shades, exchange or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code Bomani for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. What would you do with an extra hour in your day? Some of us would use it productively to exercise and get more work done, while others would use that extra hour to get some rest to do something you enjoy. The best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. Therapy can help you find what matters to you so you can do more of it. Therapy helps you find your strengths and also your weaknesses. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/Bomani today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bomani. Are you someone who hydrates to live or lives to hydrate? Are you chugging water throughout the day or periodically having a glass? Well, if you use Liquid IV, which has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink plus 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness, you can hydrate even faster. Liquid IV is super easy to use. Just take a pre-measured packet and pour it into a glass of water, mix it up, and enjoy. You can take it at home before you start your day or take it with you to work or the gym. Plus, with their roster of flavors, which includes my favorite, lemon lime, you can easily find the right flavor for you and your taste buds. However you hydrate, grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier sugar-free in bulk nationwide at Costco or get 20% off your first order when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Bomani at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code Bomani at liquidiv.com. All right, we're back with Elle Duncan. And Elle, I was thinking about this, right? So the Falcons need a quarterback. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of discussion about Kirk Cousins being the guy that they want and that the Falcons are going to make a play at Kirk Cousins. And not even really just talking about race. I can't really think of anything more ironic than the idea of Kirk Cousins at Atlanta Falcons.
You know, the idea that like they're being teased with like Justin Fields returning home and like the great story that could be a black quarterback back in the city that he's from to getting like literally Hermie from Rudolph. Like, it's just so funny to me. Although, let's be clear, and I know this because Justin Fields is from right up the street where I'm from, rival high school. He went to Harrison. I went to McEachern. It ain't Atlanta. So let's just, I'm not saying he's
from Cartersville, cooler. Right? Or somewhere up there, or Rome, one of them.
No, like Marietta, he went to Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like so Cobb County, okay? You already know about
Yeah.
Cobb County. I'm just saying it ain't it's not exactly like it's like the streets, but it's still he is much more in line, I think, with Atlanta than Kirk Cousins. I find the whole thing to be so interesting too, because like our insiders would say, not that they're like, I don't actually have information. I'm just saying, based on the fact that his wife is from there, I could see that happening. And even though a few years ago I didn't want Kirk Cousins on the Broncos, I could see why the Falcons would want someone like a Kirk Cousins. I could also see why the Falcons are going to cry in their tears when Kirk Cousins leads them to a game that he has to win and then throws a pick six.
Dude, that's exactly what I was about to say. What is guaranteed here is a Falcony outcome, because I've been hard on Kirk Cousins over the years, obviously. I can't come up with anybody better that the Falcons would probably reasonably get under those circumstances.
Sure.
If you're talking about right now, you're not talking about the future, there's no question. You take Kirk Cousins over Justin Fields. Though I have contended that with Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, we ain't got to throw the ball if we got Justin Fields, right? We just get out here and run the bone. We ain't got to do that. But Kirk Cousins, that is the way to go. But man, the collision of destinies, the Kirk Cousins destiny and the Atlanta Falcons destiny coming together. Oh man, that's heartache right there, boy. That is heartache.
It really is. He's actually like a mascot for the Falcons, so it is kind of perfect. But I felt like, we've talked about this, Bo. Like we went from Michael Vick, right, the swaggiest of quarterbacks, and then they course corrected, if you will, and went all the other way to Matt Ryan, right, who is just opie-ish by nature, and he was just like so white. And I always thought that like when they went back and looked for the next face of the franchise, they would maybe settle somewhere in the middle, which is why I felt like Justin Fields was sort of that perfect merriment of the two. And to your point, like, yeah, there's a lot of question marks with Justin Fields. Certainly, you've got to figure out what you're going to do with him over the next year. You're going to have to pick up his contract. You're going to have to give him $28 million if you do. So, like, I understand why economically it feels like you can make Kirk Cousins work better just because he kind of is who he is, right? Coming off an ACL, but he is who he is, or an Achilles, but he is who he is, and you kind of already know that. But you can run the ball with Justin Fields. Like he needs an offense that's specifically built around him. And I believe that if you can do that and you can lean on all the assets around him, you don't need Justin Fields to be anything more than he was in Chicago the last 7 games of the season. So it feels like it is a great fit. But for a Falcons team, and frankly, if you're trying to win right now, which of course Raheem Morris is trying to do, I understand why you'd want to turn to Kirk Cousins. But golly, it just sort of feels like we're getting Matt Ryan light here,
Well, I will say this. Even in Atlanta, new black coach plus new black quarterback is asking a lot of the people. You're asking them to, you're asking for a lot of big changes. You're asking for a lot of big changes. There's that. Like Raheem, you got to ask himself, like, oh man, am I willing to put it all on the line on this one? But also, if you Raheem, am I willing to put it on the line with Kirk Cousins? Even though we done seen Kirk Cousins movies, y'all still probably gonna blame me. There's that, right? But number 2. And I hadn't thought about this until just where you just said the thing about the midpoint, right? Like the midpoint between the swagginess of Michael Vick and those waves and Matt Ryan. Like what is the midpoint between those two guys? And you know who the midpoint between those two guys is, don't you?
Russell Wilson, no!
He just hit the market. He's right there. He's available for the minimum. If you want to bridge the gap between Michael Vick and Matt Ryan, that motherfucker right there is exactly the person who it would be. But you know who's vetoing that one.
Who? Not Sierra.
Princess ain't trying to come live in no Atlanta.
That's true. And also Future's there, and like there's that.
That's right. That's all I was about to say. You know how many dudes is not trying to live where they baby mama live? Can you imagine having the baby mama equivalent of Future? Like next thing you know, he gonna be trying to come over to the house now. Like, yo, me and Lil Future, I'm trying to go take him down to the park. No. He gonna start showing up to all the games. Right down there on the front row with them boys acting bad.
How awkward would that be? We could do instead of the Taylor Swift camera, you do a Future camera every time Russell Wilson does something really well for his team.
But the problem is, in all likelihood, it'll be a Russell Wilson do something really bad for his team. If Future be over there, I can't get it right.
Gloating.
I was trying to find the right at the same damn time to put together.
Oh my God,
running left, drop the ball at the same damn time, right? Like something in that range of things. Look, I don't know none of that new Future. I know the names of that first run of Future songs. After that, I really wasn't trying to pay attention to them. And it was a shame because the thing with Future I always say is every time I hear Future songs, they be jamming. I'm just not about to be the one listening to it.
He does. He's got a very biteable style too. But I also think that that Future had like a moment. It's interesting because you know how we sort of in the dichotomy of like Atlanta music greats. It feels like as soon as I had accepted that like I am of the outcast generation and that there's the Future generation, I instantly thought I could connect with young people. Like I did the Celebration Bowl a couple of years ago and, and I was like, we're in Atlanta. Like I always host like the hospitality thing for both the teams. And I'm like, I was like, home of outcasts. And they kind of grumbled and I was like, oh, my bad. What y'all think? Y'all, this is home of Future. And they were like, hell no, you old bitch. This is the home of Gunna. I was like, damn, when did that happen? It went by so fast. It was like the Future generation just went so fast. And then it became Young Thug and Gunna and 21 Savage, even though he ain't really from Atlanta. I'm like, it really turned on me quite. Rich the Kid or whatever. I'm like, when did this happen? So Future had a moment, but he is not of this generation or the next anymore, apparently.
Future is your age.
Shut up. Is he?
I think he's born in 1983. Like he got in late in the game. Yeah, he got in late in the game. Like he one of them dudes that went and hooped overseas for a couple years and then like clawed his way onto a roster and made it happen. Yeah.
You're right. He was born in November of 83. He is 40 years old.
He Rico Wade's nephew or one of them cousin or something like that. Like he was late in the game to come around, but like these Gunna, this Young Thug, hey man, like we've kind of lost track of it because I can't understand why this is still going. But I cannot believe that YSL trial is real life. Like between that and that hearing with the DA that they had a couple weeks ago, it was just like I can't believe Atlanta is a real place.
Honestly, Atlanta's one of those places where like there's nothing in Atlanta, even something from the highest institutions that isn't ratchet. Like everything in Atlanta is just painted with a ratchet brush. We just can't have nice things. Like everything just has to be just a little bit ghetto. I do wonder, Bo, if Kirk Cousins does come to Atlanta, because whenever people come to a new city, right, they want to go to the place that all the locals love to ingratiate themselves to the city. Where would Kirk Cousins show up? Where would his first appearance be that would ingratiate himself to the city?
We know the first place he's trying to go, right? The varsity. It's right up the street. Like it ain't far from the stadium. First, oh boy, the varsity made people make that face, boy. But tell me it does not sound like the place that somebody would tell Kirk Cousins that he needed to go.
Yes, it sounds like a place that he would Google, what are Atlanta institutions? And they would say the varsity. They'd say, what else is going on that list? Busy Bees, much better than the varsity.
No, he'll be at the World of Coca-Cola.
Yes. Yeah, at the aquarium. Yep.
Yes.
You know what? He'll do that whole circuit. He'll go to the CFP Museum.
Yes.
He'll pop over at Chick-fil-A. Yeah, he'll go to the Chick-fil-A at the former CNN Center, rest in peace. He'll swing by the aquarium, get a quick drink at the World of Coke, admire the bricks at Centennial Olympic Park, and then land at that Waffle House. It's like, right, he'll just do the little 300-yard diameter right there at Centennial Olympic Park. I could see it.
I can see him doing that. One thing about it, boy, you walk 50 feet outside of that little radius, and there's no telling what you might step into. It could go a number of different directions.
It could go really awry for you. I'd love to see Kirk Cousins on a MARTA.
I'd love to see Kirk Cousins just make a wrong turn coming out of Mercedes-Benz, because that's the thing about that stadium right there. Even to this day, a whole lot of things about Atlanta has changed. Let me tell you what look exactly the goddamn same as the year 1999, right over there by the Georgia Dome. Like, yeah, it's a couple more stores. I think it's a Walmart, bust a left. Ain't nothing changed.
He's going to be like, Castleberry Hill, that sounds very nice.
Woo, woo, woo. Well, man, I was over there. Last time I was there, I was just making a couple spins around, and I was just kind of like, hey, man, I was wilding in college because I would always drive to my parents' house, and I would take all these back roads because I like taking a different road. So maybe I just take Simpson Road this day, right? Like maybe I'll swing it down High Tower, whatever it is. Man, what was on my mind?
He's just flirting with danger. I mean, you also, it's an invincibility complex, but you're right. Like Atlanta's one of those places. Sometimes people say like, oh, don't go to this area or don't go to this area just because it's people of color. And like by nature, they think that means it's dangerous. Obviously, being a Black person, being from Atlanta, I don't think that. But Atlanta's one of those places where like you can't go in there with that idea. Like you can't go in there when someone tells you to stay away from a certain area, they mean it. And it's not because they're being some kind of way. It's because they know, they're informed. Stay away. Don't go there.
No. That is a great point. Like when somebody tells you, because it's all Black, right? So people have had to learn to be a little more subtle. Like white people, I really don't know what they're going to tell you, right? But no, if a Black person in Atlanta tells you, hey, man, you might want to stay away over there. Like Turner Field, like I didn't like the way that the Braves did it, but I understood in its own way.
100%.
Don't be messing around over there.
Although now it's like completely gentrified. They've got vegan biscuit shops and like everyone with their $7,000 strollers like out on jogs. It's like so surreal to go to Turner Field now and just see that again, if they turn the wrong corner, they're going to get got for that stroller too.
They put a park over off of Hollywood Road. It was a Bankhead Highway. It was one of those. I went over there, and I'm like, it's the white folks over there off the belt line. I was like, oh, so we telling the white folks to come over here to Hollywood Road. That's what we – wow. You're not going to convince me to do it. I tell you that right now. You're gonna have to move a lot more white folks in here before I show up.
I'm gonna have to think I'm in Iowa in order for me to want to come down here.
Yeah.
I know better.
Yeah. And even then, I'm gonna think it's a setup. Like y'all gonna have to talk to me a whole bunch of different ways. That's what we need to do. See if we can get Kirk Cousins to buy himself a house off Hollywood Road. I guess it ain't gonna happen because the facility is all the way out there out north. But hey, man, that out north, we done showed up out north. Like it's places that it's places that I can't believe we out in all them places. Like we coming. No matter where you at, you can't run.
I feel like though, Bo, like I feel like if anybody that comes to that city, someone needs to be in their ear going, it is important to get a hood pass. Even if you don't think it's important. Like if Kirk Cousins attempted to actually endear himself to a function of the Atlanta population by, I don't know, enjoying some lemon pepper wings at Strokers or maybe having some lunch at Magic City. I think that would, because there's nothing that's more like emblematic of Atlanta than strip clubs. So I feel like if he could like ingratiate himself in that way, it would be awesome to see someone do. But I feel like the marketing people never really get involved and say like, Kirk, there's a certain function. The Cobb County folks are going to love you no matter what because you are the quarterback for the Falcons. But if you really want to know and understand the city, here's where you need to go, right? Like where would be your place where he could go get a hood pass if he showed up to?
If Kirk Cousins turned up in pinups, then just imagine you just there minding your business. The next thing you know, it's Kirk Cousins over in the corner in pinups. And I'm gonna be honest with you, he could go over there in the corner in pinups. It'd be a long time for anybody to realize it was Kirk Cousins. Like if you really want to just blend in to be the white dude at pinups, come in there with your windbreaker on. You know what I'm saying? And just sit over there in the corner at pinups and then gradually let the word get around, man. They probably leave you alone. It just be a lot of, yo, man, he was real cool. Like that's how that goes. When somebody shows up somewhere they don't expect you to be, they be like, no, man, he was real cool about it. It was real cool.
Yeah. He was real cool. He was just real laid back. He was real low key. Yeah. That's great. Like a plant, like someone just going, is that Kirk Cousins? And it's like, he was at pinups. And you're right. I think Magic City has become so mainstream that it wouldn't exactly endear himself enough to get a hood pass. But yes, if you go out, that's why I said like, even like Crazy Horse, like if you get outside the perimeter, you go to Strokers, if you drive all the way to Strokers, bro, you definitely are going to get some cred. Is it still open, by the way? Because I feel like the strip clubs in Atlanta are falling by the wayside by the minute.
I would make the argument that they are falling, but at the same time have been there for so long that it's kind of amazing. Like there are very few outside of like Nikki. Just about all the ones that was something when I was in school are still something now. Strokers, for example. Strokers on lean. Strokers still out there.
Wow. Blue Flame still holding strong?
Stronger than ever, as I understand it.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah,
By the way, for the folks that don't know, go ahead, Bo.
I say, just don't lose your liquor license. Like Nikki lost their liquor license. As long as you keep your liquor license, you good.
It's over. It's over. We used to have a spot in Cobb County. I believe it was called Boomers. And it was
over there for Cobb Parkway.
Yes. Yes, and it was 18 and up, and the girls were not allowed to completely disrobe. So, needless to say, it was the worst of the adult establishments in all of Atlanta. But for those that are unfamiliar with some of the places that we're talking about, if you listen to Whistle While You Twerk by the Yin Yang Twins, they pretty much, it's a murderer's row, right? Of all of the best strip clubs in Atlanta. You could just go Yelp each one of those songs off the lyrics, and you could find some trouble.
If you need a translation, it's like the girls, the Motley Crue girls of black people strip club music. Like, it is one that you could just kind of run through, and yeah, they ticked just about every box. And I think that you could go back in that one, just like girls. They still got some of them spots still open, right? I think that you can go through and you can still. Whistle While You Twerk, which, by the way, is 25 years old. I think that you could go back and tick through a whole bunch of those, and they are still there. What the wildest thing about Atlanta strip club discussion, hi, Mom, that is always so interesting to me, though, is like how furious people get after going to Atlanta about places that are not fully nude. Right? It's a literal floss of fabric. That's all we're talking about, right? Because it's not like they come in there like boomers ain't, because that's what they was wearing, right? They ain't bloomers. Yeah, ain't nobody doing that, right? It's just nope. Once people have lived the Atlanta life, when you say that they not taking literally everything off, people just completely tune it out. They're so angry. Ain't trying to hear
they're
no
like, more. They're like, I want to see nips. I don't care about the tassels. I want to see it all. It's just like it's so ridiculous. Also, Google's Foxy Lady. Is Foxy Lady still around? Because that plays. So, Bo, my favorite, I went and played like a softball. We used to have like a softball league when I played for CBS Radio when I did V103. And so afterwards, it was on the west side. So we would go to Crazy Horse. And we went there one time, and they were having one of those slap contests, before Dana White put it on television and made it a mainstream sport. They were just doing it at strip clubs. And I just remember in the moment just being like, is there any place else in the world quite like Atlanta where you can go play a softball game, have a nice plate of wings, and just watch a couple of ladies, couple of strippers, one of them pregnant, slap each other in the face? Like, I don't know that any other place exists like this in the world.
And nobody is really tripping. By the way, Foxy Lady, it's not in the league. It's out of the league.
Rest in peace, Foxy Lady. Damn.
Yeah, I gotta say, and by the way, the last Instagram post was from 2019, and buddy, some of these posts they got on here, let's just say, classy is not what they were going for. They thought they were, but they weren't.
Yeah, there's only room for one sort of ironic, like dirty, not classy strip club, and that's the Claremont Lounge. Like, that's the only one that Atlanta has made a space for. It's gone through certain iterations, but from the last I checked, it's still holding on strong. You can no longer bring your own booze, which is a bummer. But I hear it's still doing well, although it's become a little more gentrified, right? Like, it's kind of a little more trendy.
Yeah, well,
like
to say it's still doing well implies it was doing. Yes, to say it's still doing well implies it was doing well when it was doing well, and well, I guess, is just a relative term. And by the way, apparently, the Foxy Lady just goes by a different name now. It's called The Office. Every city got The Office. The same way every city, including Atlanta, has a bar called The Library that's near a college.
Yes.
So you can tell your mom what you're doing tonight. Oh, I'm going to the library. That's where you about to be. I'm about to be at The Office.
It's not a lie. It's not a lie.
It's not a lie. It's not a lie. But circa 2023, it was still. That's what I'm saying. None of those. As long as you don't lose your liquor license, your strip club will never close in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's true. The Cheetah's been holding on for like 50 years strong. It's been an institution for a long time.
It's been the classiest mid. It is the middest. Correct. Right? It is like you know what it is though, and I think this is a tricky thing about Atlanta. How we wound up here, who knows, guys? But we are. I don't know white Atlanta that well. It's so segregated. So there's always like you got the doo-doo brown clubs, but you got the pour some sugar on me clubs, right? Like, it just all depends on what it is that they're nothing but a good time. Like over there, I don't really know. I don't really know what they be doing, right? Yeah. Yes, that's just the same move. Every idea, I be like, yo, so Metallica slow. Make you want to. Yeah, like Metallica make you want to take your clothes off, huh? Oh, who would have thought? Didn't see that one coming.
Who knew? Who knew? And that club is called Oasis, and it's outside of 285 off Buford. Yeah, I've been to that one. That's the white one. That is where you're getting all kinds of Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses and Kings of Leon, and they're all sexy dancing. It's a lot of like Britney Spears sexy dancing in there. It's kind of just like one side bop to bop. Yeah.
And I gotta say, man, rock music forsake the strip club in the 90s. Like when that shit went all sad, when it all went sad and like death metalish or whatever it is, nobody, the 80s, them Def Leppards and all of them, they was thinking about them girls. They understood they needed something to make it happen. Like I feel like they was the first ones to get on the Atlanta, we sell our music at the strip club, right? Then Kurt Cobain and them, they all sad asses. Can you imagine what it had to be like for them girls? They come, like, you can't be out here come as you are trying to get your groove on. It don't work.
As I want you to be. It's also whiny. You can't you can't get your twerk onto Green Day. You know what I mean? It just like doesn't work. It's too emo.
No. Don't know how we did this, but that's Elle Duncan. This has been a wonderful, great time, as it is always a wonderful, great time when you are here to join us. I love you. Check out the Elle Duncan Show, also available where all fine podcasts are found. Also on YouTube, though I don't think you do that show with Gary. That's the dude that Mina used to call Hablo. She said he was the hot Pablo.
Yeah.
Hot Pablo. Don't say that to Pablo. He doesn't find that nearly as funny as we do. But check she and Gary. By the way, nobody, and I mean nobody, is on the wait, that's you, quite like you see Gary Struski on the paper, and then you pop up, and it's this Korean dude in front of you.
You're like, wait, very Polish name, very Korean looking dude. He loves to play on it too. Yeah.
Great job. I don't blame him at all. Like I can't imagine 100%. How much fun I would have if I was that person. Korean Gary. Yeah,
Korean Gary, exactly. His parents did him no favors. But he does like to lean on the fact that his middle name is Lee.
Lee, got you. At first I thought you said Leon, and I was like, this keeps getting better.
I am confusion.
Yes. Thank you so much, Elle. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, Bo. Please invite me back anytime, man.
Of course. Hey, and speaking of Koreans, Sean, you got prize picks for the people?
Now that is a segue, Bo. Wow, you really are a professional. Let's keep the more train going. Giannis, 1 3-point made. He's going more than that. Andrew Wiggins, 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Austin Reeves, 4 rebounds. Wendell Carter Jr., 9.5 rebounds and assists. Obviously, more across the board.
And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 3 times a week. That's Sean Yu, who handles everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Remember, follow The Right Time. And thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.